Welcome to Sofia, Bulgaria.
Wow, look at that. Isn't that beautiful back there?
Beautiful city.
Oh, we're being photobombed.
Woohoo!
Today we're going to visit some of the most popular tourist locations here in the heart of Sofia, Bulgaria. So come along as we walk around this town. As we start our walk through some of these historic sites here in Sofia, Bulgaria, we're going to do the short walk over towards where the presidential palace is for the Republic of Bulgaria. And we're going to go straight to the left of that and go through a gate that's going to take us into where St. George Cathedral is located. And this is the oldest standing building in Sofia, Bulgaria, going back to the 4th century. And there's Byzantine paintings that were done within the dome and frescoes in there that were just recently uncovered. They were painted over by the Ottomans, and throughout history, churches have become mosques, mosques have become churches, and so as it's been conquered, things have been defaced or changed, and so getting those frescoes back is pretty cool. Our next stop is going to be the St. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral. It was actually built as a memorial to the 200,000 Russian soldiers that died during the Russo-Turkish Liberation War. The war took place from 1877 to 1878, and the church was finalized in 1912. This is perhaps the best known landmark in Sofia, Bulgaria. I was able to actually get inside to do some videoing, which I was pretty excited about because in so many places you're not allowed to have your camera out and not supposed to video or take pictures. So being able to bring you these shots, I think is something pretty special. If you're not familiar with the Orthodox Church religion, you may find it strange that there's no pews or places to sit when you're worshiping. When you come into an Orthodox church, everybody is typically standing through the service, so it's a little bit different than maybe what you might be used to if you're coming from a country like the United States in most cases. The church had groundbreaking in 1882, completed in 1912, and consecrated in 1924. It's the largest Orthodox church in the Balkans and can hold 5,000 people. Before we continue the tour, we're going to stop for lunch and we're going to share expenses. So we're at Happy, which is a chain here in Bulgaria, and this is what the menu looks like. If you're new to our channel, Julie and I, as we travel the world, we try to share our expenses with you as well as experiences. And so we're going to show you the menu of the restaurant that we're going to eat at because we want you to be able to see what kind of prices you may see in case you want to order something that we're not ordering. Currently, the exchange rate is $1 equals 1.86 lev, 1 euro equals 1.96 lev, and 1 British pound equals 2.28 lev. Now, if you want, go ahead, pause, zoom in on this menu, check out the prices, and if it's of no interest, you can fast forward to the end of this particular clip. Now, as a reminder, Julie and I, we are traveling the world with our 2 dogs, and we're trying to see what it's like to actually live somewhere. We're slow traveling, and we will try to share our expenses, experiences. We'll interview expats or foreigners living in different countries and try to see what they think about where they're living. We'll look at residency programs, and sometimes we'll look at real estate, and we'll also at times do tourist things like we're doing today. So we hope you're going to give this video a like and subscribe and follow along on our journey. This restaurant was great, and let Arya come in as well as Katie sitting over there with Julie. We got the halloumi cheese for me, we got the zucchini balls with some tzatziki sauce. Julie's got a chicken salad with her egg over here to the side. And then over here,
Thai salad with crispy chicken.
Okay. And over here, a breatharian.
Nothing. She doesn't
waiting.
get food.
Got some zucchini fries. There's lemonade and lemonade. Finally, the tempura halloumi cheese showed up. It looked good. For you longtime viewers, some of you will recognize World Traveler Kay joining us with her friend Andrea as they're traveling around Europe this month. So let's look at the total for the four of us. It was $82.71 lev, which came out to be $44.45 without tip. Sofia is full of beautiful buildings like the Ivan Vazov National Theater, the St. Nicholas Russian Church. You could just wander from street to street, seeing history. There's a very impressive statue of Tsar Alexander II, and there's many statues throughout the city. And we stopped at the Church of Sveti, and I'm not going to try to say the word because it's pretty long, but it's the former black mosque that was built in 1528, and it was abandoned in 1878 after the Bulgarian liberation from the Ottomans. It was a prison from 1878 to 1901, and converted to a church in 1903 to the present. And it wasn't until 1996 that it was fully restored into this beautiful, spectacular building that you're seeing now. It's well worth the trip to come over and just stand in awe. Before we continue our exploration of Sofia's tourist stuff, we're going to stop and get some ice cream. I've had this little place on my agenda to go to while we've been in Sofia. It's a little hole in the wall that does these ice cream rolls, and they've got lots of good flavors. They even got like this Oreo one that I really wanted, but Julie's with me, so we're staying with healthier things. So we're doing a fruit one, but this kid's got some artistic flair as he's putting these rolls together, so check them out, and we're going to see how this little roll ice cream thing tastes, and if we'll recommend it for you.
This was 7 for this, and I'm gonna try a taste of this. I've been trying to do this. I was gonna go for the Oreo, but Julie is with me, so it's fruit. It's really good too.
It's good.
Mission accomplished. Julie approved. So now we're going all the way down to the end of the pedestrian zone to where you can see this beautiful blue dome at the end of the walkway. This church at the end of the pedestrian zone, St. Natalia, has been around since the 10th century when the first church was located here. This one was actually consecrated in 1867, and the relics of the Serbian king Stefan Milutin are located here. It was the site of an assassination attempt in 1925 where 150 people were killed and 500 injured. It was funded by the Soviet Union and a communist plot. Over 450 people were rounded up for an involvement in this plot and executed, and the dome was restored in 1933.
What is the square called that we're going to?
The Square of Tolerance.
Okay, well, let's go see why. So this little church here was built during the time when the Ottomans were ruling the area, and Christians were being taxed very heavily to be able to be allowed to be Christians. And you'll see that it's down at a lower level than where street level is, and so there's the city's built on the ruins from after World War II. But the church, if you'll see, is built with very poorer types of materials, things that the people were able to use, because the Christians during this period of time didn't have a lot of money because it was all going to taxes for the Ottomans, so they used the materials they could. But this has stood through the test of time for centuries, and this is one of the areas here in the Square of Tolerance where you have the Christian and the Muslim and the Jewish faiths all coming together. But you'll notice the types of materials being used here are poorer materials.
This church represents the struggle that Christians had in the time of the Ottomans, so it's an important place to visit and understand its history.
So these structures here, again, down below the street level, is old Bulgaria, or old Sofia, before it was even called Sofia, and a lot of these date back to the 3rd and 4th century.
It's amazing to look at these old ruins and think that somehow this city, while it's been here for a long time, has been rebirthed over and over. Buildings being built on top of buildings, being built on top of buildings, continuously, where previous societies have been forgotten and built on top of.
So over there is the last functioning mosque in Sofia, and that's part of the three major religions you can see here in the Square of Tolerance. And this is a view looking up from the ruins.
You can actually get here really easily because there's a metro stop literally right in the middle of these ruins. And you wonder why?
So they found a lot of this when they were digging up the metro or subway area and had to come to a stop and preserve it and do a little redirection with the metro system and with their plans. So as we look at a lot of these ruins around here, this is the area that's excavated. So when we look up here at these other buildings, underneath these are probably fragments of the old civilization, like here. They're just not excavated yet. So from the square here, there's the synagogue. Then you have the last functioning mosque in Sofia, Bulgaria. You have the Orthodox Church there, and the ancient church down below.
And this is why it's called the Square of Tolerance. You have three of the world's major religions located directly here. And if you wanted to separate Christianity, Catholic and Orthodox, you can say four major religions in this square as well, all peacefully coexisting within a 1 to 2 minute walk from one place of worship to another.
So many churches were turned into mosques, and then mosques turned into churches as empires came and went. There once were 7 large mosques in the area. The other 6 are now functioning as churches.
We're not going to go on the metro right now, but we're going to use the metro station tunnel to go across the street to see the synagogue. But as you go across the metro area, you'll see that there's ruins displayed within the metro tunnels, showing what was excavated in certain areas during the building of this station. The synagogue is literally right across the street from the mosque, and the history here of the Jews is quite interesting.
So behind us is the synagogue here in Sofia. Now, before World War II, there were over 50,000 Jews that called Sofia, Bulgaria home, and right now there's about a population of 5,000. So what happened to the Jews that were here in Sofia? It's a little bit different story than what you might think compared to what you know about most of Europe. Well, see, in the days of the Ottomans, the Christians and the Jews were both persecuted, having to pay taxes to the Ottomans so that they can have a life here in Bulgaria. So the Christians in Bulgaria looked at the Jews as their partners, their brothers, during that dark time with the Ottomans. So when the Bulgarian leadership decided to side with the Nazis and with Hitler, the people came out when they were ordered to bring the Jews to the concentration camps and got in front of the trains and kept the trains from leaving with the Bulgarian Jews. The Bulgarian leadership started talking to Hitler and kept making delays and reasons for delays of why they can't transport the Jews out of Bulgaria. And eventually, as the war drew to an end, the Jews in Bulgaria, or in Sofia, were saved. So that doesn't answer what happened to the Jews. Well, after World War II, a new state of Israel came about, and the majority of the Jews from Bulgaria safely moved to Israel. And so there's a large amount of Israelis that will come to Bulgaria to see where their ancestors came from. But this is the mosque, not the mosque, I'm sorry. This is the synagogue here in Sofia, Bulgaria.
This synagogue was consecrated in 1909 in the presence of the Tsar and his family and can seat 1,170 people inside.
So that mosque there is literally less than a 1 minute walk from the synagogue and less than the 1 minute walk from that Orthodox church over there too. So it's really in close proximity to the other religions here. And again, that's like the last holdout of the Muslim religion from the Ottomans' days here in Sofia.
So as a reminder, Julie and I were traveling the world with our 2 dogs, trying to see what it's like to live in other countries, places, And as we travel, we use I Am Global Health Insurance. If you're a traveler, an expat, a foreigner in another land, and you need medical coverage or medical insurance, check our link in the video description or email me at warrenjulietravel@gmail.com and I'll send the link to you. If you use the link, I'll get a commission, and for that, I thank you.
So behind us is the old bathhouse here in Sofia, and it was a bathhouse for many years after when the Ottomans were here, and I think before that the Romans. Well, now it's a museum. Unfortunately, you can't go in there and use those thermal springs, but you can still get some warm water from the tap that you can drink if you'd like over in the far corner over there.
Yeah, I think they really should have kept this thing refurbished and used. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made, plus people would have loved to have had the thermal bath.
Yep.
Currently, the building serves as a regional history museum for Sofia, and over at that far corner where that natural warm water is coming out, there is a pretty long line. So we meandered around a little bit out here, and there's quite a few artifacts from days gone by that were quite interesting to check out and look at. So it is a very interesting place to come visit and kind of realize how old this city actually is. And we did finally get up to the water.
So how's that water feel, honey?
It's probably 30
30 Celsius. I'm gonna say it's probably warmer than that. It's bathwater temperature. So they say that this gets to 46 Celsius, and we're debating on how hot it really is. It's hot. It's not hot enough to make your coffee, but it's bathwater warm.
Yeah, I mean, it's hot outside right now, so it's very hard to determine this. To me, it doesn't feel like it'd be 46 Celsius either, which is around 115.
Hey everybody, we hope that you enjoyed today's trip through some of the sites here in Sofia, Bulgaria. We hope that you're going to subscribe and give the video a like. As a reminder, Julie and I, we're traveling the world with our two dogs. We're trying to see what it's like to live in different countries, different locations. Sometimes we do the tourist things. Sometimes we're interviewing expats and foreigners about what it's like to live in these countries. We're looking at the cost of living. We're talking to residency experts, looking at real estate. So don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a like, and until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.